Welcome, my name is Tom and you're watching Tales of Gear. Today's episode is about M60 gunner pouches. Let's get started. Today's episode is about these 100 round M60 gunner pouches made by LBT. But before I get into details about those, it is important to say a few things about the time before these pouches were even invented and how it was like to carry such ammo belts back in the day before there were any designated pouches for carrying such belts. So we're talking about the 60s, the 70s, and the early 80s, and one way to carry was in such bandoliers. I've cut off this strap here. I will explain the reason in a bit. And yeah, you had these cardboard boxes filled up with 100 rounds linked ammo, and yeah, you would carry it with this strap. Now the other thing what operators did was just simply to put such belt over the shoulder on the torso and to carry it like that, and we can take a look on a very interesting reference picture. Both pictures are of Navy SEALs, and you may notice that not only the gunners were carrying the belts on the torso, but some other team members as well. Reason is simple, that way the gunner had more belts for his weapon, and one gunner just couldn't carry all the belts. Reason and a very important factor when making pouches for carrying any machine gun ammo is the weight factor. So such a 100 round belt weighs around 3 kilograms. A Navy SEAL gunner carries 4 to 6 such belts, and you do the math. Along the ammo, these belts are very heavy, and if you count in also the gun, which is the M60 E3, which is around 10 or 11 kilograms, alone ammo and weapon is a lot of weight. So the pouches made for carrying the belts should be lightweight as possible, but also very durable because of the weight. Now, because in the 60s and 70s there were no pouches designated for carrying such belts, the operators came to a solution, and the solution was this here. That's a standard USGI 2-quart canteen cover, as you can see. Okay, and they would simply throw in 1 or 2 belts and carry it inside of this, or they would throw in one such box inside. Okay. In my research I only found this way of carrying such belt with these 2-quart canteen covers and the bandoliers. I didn't find any other way how they carried it, of course, except of throwing the belt over the shoulder, and I think that was really the only way, the only few ways they did that. If someone has more info and knows of some other ways how they carried it or in what they carried it, let me know in the comments below, and I promise to explain why these straps are cut. So before LBT, I think there were no feed tray pouches for the 60 which go on the side of the weapon. This was meant for the bandoliers, like that, and you would throw one on, empty it, and then take it off and put another one on. I know that SEALs have put one on and just swapped the entire box, or just filled the box with a new belt. So if there is someone who knows for sure how it was done, please let me know in the comments below. I would really like to know for sure how they used it. Well, so in the early 80s there were some other pouches available. I just don't know if the SEALs had these available as well, because it was something pretty new back then. So around 85 it was more spread. The pouch I'm talking about is this one here. This is the M249 saw pouch. It holds the box mag of the 200 round box mag of the saw, and you could fit a 100 round belt inside. It is narrower because it's made for 5.56 and the box, but you could throw in a 100 round belt of the 60. I have never seen any SEALs use such pouch along with the M60, and I don't know if it is ever been done. If someone knows that it was done, please let me know. If someone has reference pictures of it, would be really great. Now, before LBT came up with these, let's take a look on a few reference pictures, and I will comment after that. Let's take a look. So, in one of the pictures we can identify something similar to this pouch, to this 100 round pouch, but in comparison with this one we can notice that the Velcro was black, and we can also notice that the pouch wasn't OD, it was black or even woodland camo. Okay, and the reference pictures are from the late 80s and the early 90s up to 1993. In these few years there were some developments. I have a series of pictures from Navy SEALs training from 1987, and not one of the gunners have something similar to this. Is it because it was training, or because in 87 there still were no pouches like that? I don't know, but the pouches we have seen in these reference pictures could be, I'm not sure, but could be experimental pouches made by any of the companies that were operating back then. One of these companies is London Bridge Trading, of course, and all the pouches we have seen in these pictures have never been confirmed to be made by LBT. Possibly, but not confirmed. Also, many of these pouches were never seen in any of the collections from the collectors I know of, so it's still kind of mystery, but the facts are, first, pouches that reassembled this one were seen in use by Navy SEAL gunners in 1989, Operation Just Cause. So I'm guessing in 89 it was something that was developed, that was finished, and was given to the SEAL gunners. Perhaps the earlier versions were something that LBT made and gave the gunners, or was made on the gunners' requests. Maybe some gunners had made them by themselves, like riggers made pouches. That's also a possibility, but the ones that look like this one here are recorded on some pics from SEAL Team 4 in '89. Later on we have a reference picture also from a gunner from 1993 that has also a very similar pouch like that, and from 93 and up you can see such pouches in use by Navy SEAL gunners. So if you're doing an impression of early M60 E3 gunners related to Navy SEALs, I wouldn't use such pouches before 1988, ideally from 1989 and upwards. This design by LBT was made and found its way to a more higher volume production around '89 and maybe a half year earlier. So this would be about the time before such pouches and around these pouches. Now we can focus on this pouch here. So this is a LBT, London Bridge Trading made pouch, and the LBT code for it is LBT-0262A, and the longer version would be LBT-0263A. So LBT made the longer, the shorter, this one, 100 round version, and the longer 200 rounds version. Now the earliest I have seen the longer version was the picture from '89, 1990, and not before that. Later ones, they were made with another label, that was the silver label, from 1990 to 1994. Let's take a closer look at this one here. We have a flap held by Velcro. That's the front. Both sides, left and right, are the same, minimalistic, nothing special going on here. When we take a look on the back, as well minimalistic, we have a simple webbing, sewn very well, and this way of sewing is very specific for LBT. I have something similar seen only on a few USGI pouches, the 2-quart canteen covers from the early 70s, but not later on. So this is pretty specific for LBT, for the early stuff. And yeah, the back side, 2 Alice clips to clip it on to your LC belt or to a designed LBT made flotation harness. I will make a separate video about that. On the bottom we have 2 drain holes. These are 2 eyelets. Now let's take a look inside. As you can see, this pouch fits the standard 100 round cardboard box, which means this pouch is designed to carry a belt of 100 rounds of ammunition for the M60. When we take it out, it's pretty easy. You will notice this pouch is holding its shape. It's not collapsing. The reason for that are these 2 stiffener plates. Plastic plate inserted on the front and on the back. It's a really clever design because of these 2 stiffeners. You can carry the belt without this box. Just simply insert the complete belt inside and carry it like that. It will be protected from this stiffener, and the pouch will not sag. It has the stiffener. It will hold its shape even when it's full with a belt that weighs 3 kilograms, which is not the case if you use this 2-quart canteen cover. So also, when you use this pouch as a utility pouch, your items you put inside will be fairly protected because of this here. So it's a really clever design, simple design, but very clever. And the choice of fabrics and other materials is perfect. We have a double layer of 1000D Cordura. Everything is trimmed with binding tape, mil-spec, and the stitching is phenomenal. So if you take in consideration that this pouch here is over 30 years old, it has seen some action and it can still get some action and hold up very well. I think this is more than proof enough that this design is perfect. Another proof is that these LBT 100 round pouches are being made up to date. So LBT did a fantastic job in designing these. So a few more words about this one. Inside we have the tag. If you have watched my other videos about LBT history and LBT labels, tags, you will recognize this one. This is the so-called t-shirt tag, and it came around 1989 and was used till 1990. You could say that was also some sort of transitional tag, but it's good because we can narrow down the time frame when it was made and when it was used. So these pouches here are very rare. I haven't seen them in any collection of the collectors I know of, and I really haven't seen much pictures as well of them. So I'm thinking it's a pretty rare one, and I'm very happy to have it. Now let's try it out. Let's put a belt inside. Back in a minute. And we're back. The belt is inside, and as you can see, the pouch is holding the shape. If I take it by the back stiffener, you will notice it still holds its shape. The rounds are secure inside, and yeah, it rattles, but you can simply pull up the flap and you can pull out the belt. This belt here is a inert belt. I unfortunately have only 80 rounds on it. Hope to find 20 rounds more to complete this belt and to have this 100 round belt to fit this pouch. And I really hope with time I may get the chance to own a couple more of these, at least 4, to be able to say, okay, I have the same amount of ammo one Navy SEAL gunner would carry. And I would like to share 2 stories about this pouch. One is how I got it, and the other one is related how I got my hands on a few more of these, and this is what I'm going to show you now. So this LBT 100 round pouch with the t-shirt tag was given to me by a very good friend from the States, and this was back in 2014. To me it's special not only because it's a gift from a friend, but this pouch made me realize that LBT had a label that was made before the silver tag and that was made after the printed label. So it was very cool for me to realize, okay, there is much more into the story about the early LBT stuff, and since then I'm very fascinated by all the much earlier stuff than the silver tag. Good. So back in 2014 I got this pouch from my friend, and 2 years later something really crazy happened. I was on Facebook and a post shows up in a group. A guy was posting a American Body Armor made tactical vest, OD color with black trim, and was asking about it, what it is, etc. So I've contacted him, we started talking a little bit about the vest, and I asked him, okay, where did you get it from? And he says, okay, my company I'm working for just bought a huge lot of old gear from SEALs. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I asked him, okay, could you send me some pictures? And he says, okay, I'm going to work tomorrow and I will take a few pics for it. Tomorrow I'm receiving a message from him, and there were a couple of pictures, and oh boy, that the moment I saw the pictures and the gear in those pictures, it was crazy. It was a huge pile of very early stuff, LBT stuff, Black Hawk Industries, also some later items from LBT, like late 90s, mid 90s, but the early LBT stuff was crazy. Pouches, vests, flotation harnesses, it was nuts. I was breathless and I wanted it all, but unfortunately my budget didn't allow to buy it all, so I had to sell some of my stuff from the collection, some late 90s stuff, in order to get some money together and to be able to buy some of the stuff that was offered to me. So I picked the stuff I really wanted, the early stuff, and among all this stuff I got, there were two more pouches like this one, and here they are. They are identical, just in different stages of use. As you can see here, this one is very used and has seen some action, but it could go through another war for sure. We have the t-shirt tag here almost ripped out. The other one is in a little bit better shape, a little bit faded, but nothing major. And it also has the t-shirt tag like this one. So I was beyond happy to have now three of these in my collection, and I was hoping there would be more of these t-shirt tagged stuff, but unfortunately it wasn't. The rest of the stuff I got was silver label stuff. I will make separate videos on these items as well. Now, if I ever see something related to these pouches or gear with such tag, I'm going for it. It's very rare, hard to find, comes up very rarely. And thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, share, and I hope this was informative for you, and maybe will help some young collectors in the future. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment, ask me. I will do my best to make a good answer, and see you in the next videos. Bye.